Morning. It is Saturday morning, November the 15th. Rise and shine. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's doing in the world of weather. It's my baby brother's birthday. So, even though he works for a competitive television station and thus he is dead to me, he's also my kid brother. And for that, I say good morning to you. He doesn't watch Coffee Talk. And I also say happy birthday, baby bro. I can't believe it. He turns well, his maturity is like 12. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Good morning, though. We have made it to the weekend. High pressure in control across the deep south today and rolling through the weekend. Not much is going to change. That axis of high pressure moves around. We'll get to more of a westerly wind tomorrow. That's going to help to start a gradual warm up in temperatures. So our weekend forecast starts to climb. Today, upper 70s. Tomorrow, we'll hit 80 degrees. And that trend will continue looking ahead to the work week. So we've actually got a really nice stretch of weather for us these next couple of days. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. All right. Let's take a look, see what's doing. Our first warning live radar scanning around. We find nothing this morning. It is gorgeous. Temperatures out the door. Sitting in the upper 50s now in Orlando. It's 57 degrees at Orlando International Airport, 57 degrees in Sanford, 51 in the Villages. It's 48 degrees in Ocala and 52 degrees in Wildwood. So we are looking good. We are feeling good. A look at the Tower Cam network. Give me a second to pull the thing up. Hit that button, hit that button, hit that button. See what's doing here. Oh, Jan, I'm going to second that. Jan says it is freaking gorgeous outside. I mean, that's a nice look. New Smyrna Beach, my friends, good morning to you. Beautiful. Let's look at the forecast today, shall we? Bright sunshine, some high, thin clouds in the mix. We'll work to 75 by lunchtime and 78 degrees, 79 degrees. I mean, our high temperature today. Yep, it looks great. Evelyn says you sound so much better. I'll take that. Does that mean that I'll be ready for 5.5 hours of talking on Monday or 3 hours and then an hour tomorrow? I hope so. Ready or not, morning news, here I come. Lauren says you sound okay, so I do sound better. All right, guys, I'll take that. Thank y'all. Steven says, threaten him with a doctor, and he starts to get better. You know what's even funnier is that one of y'all, I'm not going to say who, Debbie, checked in and was like, what'd you do today? And I'm like, and she said, did you go to the doctor? I'm paraphrasing, of course. So I did not go to the doctor. And I got yelled at. Debbie, Mama Debbie yelled at me. But my voice is sounding better. Hey, okay, okay. All we need now is a UCF victory over a top 10 ranked team, and it'll be great. Tanya says you still need to see an ENT. You're right about that. But if I can, I did say to Debbie, though, I was like, standard guy, not the smartest. You know? So, anyway, yeah. Matt says my prescription fixed him. Flying fixes everything. Yeah. Bruce, you deserve the blanking out. Christina Washington over on YouTube says, but we still don't know what the cause is. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. I need to. You're right. Y'all are right. Y'all are right. Tiffany still need to go. You're right. You're right. Everybody. Ugh, I hate it when y'all are right. Bothers me. Tanya says, or maybe you were faking it. Allegedly. No, no. No, I actually dislike taking sick days, especially when I'm not actually sick. But like in this case, my voice went out. So like I had to take sick days just because I couldn't talk. Matt says the cause was not flying. You're not wrong. Maybe. Who knows? All right, so for today, it's a nice cool morning. Like I've got the long sleeves on this morning. Later today, 79 degrees will be our high temperature in Orlando, 78 in Ocala, 76 in Palm Coast. So obviously, we are looking at a slightly above average day. 78 is the average high. So we're like in the ballpark of it. East northeast breeze, as we had talked about, that area of high pressure is going to kind of start shifting around a little bit. And what that's going to end up doing is giving us some warmer winds looking ahead. So for the next couple of days, we'll notice on the 7-day forecast 80, 81, 82, 83. Yup. We're getting there. A little bit warmer and a little bit warmer each day. Christopher says, "We just love you and want you okay, sir." I appreciate you, buddy. Debbie says, "I'm telling you to listen to me." You know what's funny is if I said to Debbie, I'm not going to go, she'd be like, "I'm coming over. I'm going to find where you live. I'm going to drag you to the doctor." Chris says, "We can still hear the sinus issue in your voice." Yeah, I mean, there's definitely something. Like, I need to figure something out. There was like a minute where I'm like, am I getting sick? I never felt sick, but I'm like, maybe am I getting, and I never got sick. So I just wonder if it's like a schmutzy, like a schmutzy situation. Christina C9282 on YouTube says it'll continue to get grumbly sounding as you age. Look, I'm 41. I don't hide it. I feel though like age, and I know a lot of you are significantly older, and that's fine. But I am to the age personally where I'm starting to recognize age. I know that may sound silly, but I'm starting to recognize like, oh, you're not in your 20s anymore, Burris. Like your body is starting to you know, I'm starting to make some adjustments, we'll say. Mindy on Facebook says, "I'm having a sympathy loss of voice issues. However, mine is a sinus infection. When the sinus strains, they irritate your throat, causing you to lose your voice." See, Mindy, I bet you that's exactly what's happening, though, with me. Like, I wondered if I was having a sinus infection. Ted says, "Listen to your Facebook moms, Eric." You're probably right. You're probably right. Jan says, "We're not letting this go." Oh my God, so funny. So funny. Joseph says women are usually right about going to the doctor. I would say anybody that says to go to the doctor is probably usually right. You know? Yukon says, "I think it's a problem when you work the 5 days in a row." Well, that morning show for 5 days, I mean, I've got to get used to it. That's what I'm working right now. So I need to, but I've done it for a few months now. Um, I just think once an allergy situation kicks, that's what's up. There's definitely some flaminozoid in there. So yeah. The ghosted woman says, "I don't know. I'm 48 and I sound like I'm 16. Voice and attitude. You get it. You get it, girl." Oh man. You don't have a sinus infection. You'd know that immediately. Okay. Maybe. Do you not remember or notice this is a repeat problem for you and your career? Betty, see Betty with wisdom. Betty Davis with the wisdom and the eyes. You're right, Nikki. They should scope you and check for vocal nodes. As someone that needs his voice for work, you need to get on this sooner rather than later. All right, I promise you all. I promise you all. I've got the referral from Chris Pierce for his doctor. I promise you. Yesterday I had stuff. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. I will go look at this next week. I promise you. Pinky promise. Tim says, "I don't want the doctor telling me the forecast. Go to the doctor and don't do the meteorologist diagnosing medical issues." I love you guys. This is what I needed on a Saturday morning. if sinus infection, a flight in a non-pressurized flight would release the pressure, flying is the prescription. See, I like how everything, Matt, goes back to flying. I like that. I like that. You need to control the allergies, Beverly says on YouTube. Yeah. No need to drag you to the doctor. Just need to talk with me. Drink a tequila with lemon and honey. So the problem, Sylvia, is I my post bariatric surgery, any alcohol just hits me very heavy. I'm surprised it doesn't bother you when you fly. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Are you back to work soon? Tiffany's asking. Tomorrow morning, West to New Sunrise. I can't wait for that 2:45 a.m. alarm. Yukon says, "Well, we just want you to have another 20 years on the air." What if I want to retire? It is 20 years. You know what's crazy, you guys? What's crazy is so this February, end of this February, will be the official 20-year mark with Hearst Television. And this January marks 25 years in television for me. What? 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 Isn't that crazy? 25 years in television weather and 20 years this February. The last day of February is my 20-year anniversary with Hearst. You don't want to become Tony's Vanna White at the green screen? No. No. My brother Frank says even before surgery, alcohol hit him pretty hard. Yeah, I was never a big drinker. Yeah, we want to hear your voice for another 25 years. Thank you. Cindy says 20th anniversary party. Hey, it's a party. Promise I'll get it checked. All right. Now we're starting to get into the holiday season, so we're going to dig this graphic out a little bit more here these next few months. It is the national weather map, just to kind of illustrate what's going on as people are starting to make some travel plans. Look at how this graphic, I updated it, but I forgot to change the Orlando layer. You see that? It's on a different computer, so it's not going to be able to do it here. But y'all see that? That Orlando's the wrong font. Anyway, all right. So for travelers, look at that. Southwest. Not the desert Southwest, the actual California. Look at that. A storm system coming into Cali. Heading out to LAX, heading into San Diego. Looks like a storm system moving that direction. May see some flight delays out there. Northeast hubs are looking good. Minneapolis, St. Paul into Chicagoland. Cold front moving through, not transitioning to snow, so that doesn't look too bad. The deep south, that same area of high pressure that's impacting you and I, is hanging out. So Charlotte, Atlanta travel hubs are looking great. I love that. If you're traveling today, it is a Saturday. Want to make sure you know we are starting to get better and better and better. Yeah. Frank, how much do we need to bribe you to get him drunk and film it for us? Yukon's asking. I don't get drunk. I'm 41 years old. I don't get drunk. It's not the way that it works. Even when I was younger, that's not the way that it ever worked. Nicole's asking, do you think that it could snow here in Florida again this year? Hey, man, listen. Stranger Things is coming back in a couple of days. Also, stranger things have happened, right? But it's not going to snow today. That area of high pressure is looking fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Oh, you're asking about SeaTac, Sonia? I mean, look at Seattle right now. A couple of showers, they can handle that just fine. There is another storm system coming in though, but yeah, looking good for now. So all in, our forecast is looking delightful. There's just not much to track here, right? Partly cloudy skies, gorgeous sunshine. Matt says, bring the 540 line. Well, let's look at the GFS and just kind of get an idea. Next cold front, according to the GFS, coming in now, it looks like after Thanksgiving. These are going to go back and forth and back and forth as we get closer and closer. We'll have to dial this in. But yeah, at the moment, we are in a warm stretch for a while, according to the gospel according to GFS. Sip some booze into those. Oh, slip some booze into those soups. Yeah, no. Oh, Tim, that sounds so fun. That sounds so fun. Patricia, weather for Virginia for Thanksgiving. So we'll get, as we get closer and closer, we can start dialing in Thanksgiving. But for now, we can at least start looking at some model stuff. So, moisture, precipitation. Let's look at precip type. I want precip type. Oh, it's because it's the wrong view. Stand by, you guys. Okay, now we're getting there. Precip type. There we go. All right. Precip type. I'm like, what buttons am I trying to push here? Dan says, sounding so much better, Eric. Keep caring for that voice. It's all we can do. Chilly ride on the scooter this morning to work. Charles, just glad it was a sunny one for you. All right, so this is the raw GFS model. Okay, we're just gonna roll through time. What day's Thanksgiving? Hmm. Stand by. Pulling up the count. So Thanksgiving is the 27th. Does the GFS even go out that far? Oh, it does. Okay, perfect. All right. So let's roll through time here. All right, so there's a storm system moving into Cali. Up, 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 up. There's a nice little area of low pressure storm system starting to bring some, look at that, some kind of frozen precipitation into the mountains and the upper elevations and through New England. I'm just skimming through, so I'm not getting into the Florida specificity. Look at that, though. All right. So, what did I tell you? Is like the days before Thanksgiving, there was going to be a cold front and a storm system. And look at this. That's Thursday. So, that's Thanksgiving Day. An area of low pressure developing over like Oklahoma. Look at that. Getting into the mountains of Arkansas. Thanksgiving night, according to the GFS, that's ice. You see that there? That would be a mess into Arkansas. Now, the GFS is putting it in right on Thanksgiving Day. Remember, I said it was going to be like right around Thanksgiving that we were going to have this storm system, and there it is. That's an ice storm there. Those kind of orange colors, that's sleet. The orange colors are sleet. The pinks are like freezing rain. In other words, that looks like a headache. And then that is Black Friday morning. So into the Smokies. Oh man, that's a good snow. Yeah. It doesn't. So, okay, so let's look at the bright side. Wednesday's a big travel. Let's look at the bright side of things. Wednesday's a big travel day. This is Wednesday morning. Storm system kind of working into Chicago. Looks like all rain. So, at least to that point, not terrible. Now, some snow out west. So, Wednesday before Thanksgiving, travel doesn't look terrible. Now, some of that's going to change into snow, it looks like, up around, into Canada. So, Denver may have a little bit of snow for United's hub. But into Thursday, into Thanksgiving morning, we're going to be watching Oklahoma and Arkansas for a developing, it looks like an ice storm. That's the 60. That's the current run of the GFS. If we go back one run, it's a very different scenario. But I'm curious, does it still point to ice? No, it's more snow the last run. Let's go back two runs. 2 runs ago was trying to throw some ice into Oklahoma. The current run is grumpy. Just, yeah. The current run throws some ice into, from Tulsa to Fort Smith, Fayetteville, Arkansas, Rogers. Staying looks like outside of Little Rock, but still. So this is 00Z Friday, which is actually Thanksgiving 7 p.m. So this is Thanksgiving 7 p.m. Snow, ice, sleet, northwest Arkansas. Then transitions to snow, getting into Memphis, getting into Knoxville, getting into Cincinnati, Cleveland. Ugh. But that's going to be a decent amount of snow. I mean, I say a decent amount coverage. I haven't looked at like actual accumulations yet, but that's a decent coverage of snow. And y'all, like that arrives. Okay, first off, just this is Friday 1 p.m., Black Friday 1 p.m. There could be some snow and ice into New England. I mean, it looks like a decent snow kind of transitioning into rain. So it looks like New York City probably just gets rain. But notice that rain snow line is going to be up into like the Poconos, not far outside of the city, right? But nevertheless, you're looking at a situation where, you've got some winter precipitation. Now, that does not look like it wants to force its way into Florida. It looks like the energy from it, you see, it's all the way up into Canada. So, because of that, this front, the one that we've been talking about around Thanksgiving, does not look like it's going to be a major player into Central Florida, unfortunately, which when we looked at the numbers, it makes sense, right? Like the GFS is not bringing a significant chill for Thanksgiving into Central Florida because at least the current run of the GFS is keeping most of that energy a little too far to the north. All right. So that's what we're looking at the moment, right? Then high pressure builds in. Now, notice as that moves out, we start to get a bit of an onshore wind in Florida. So we'll get some coastal showers, it looks like. And then that's as far out as the GFS goes. So, yeah, how about that? It'll be interesting to see how these runs work. You know, it'll be interesting to see how this works. So that hit like that. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how this little ice storm type deal ends up playing out. You know what I mean? Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how this ends up working. So no cold front, Yukon says. Well, at the moment, it looks like the energy is going to want to stay to the north. At the moment. Put me in the drive-through on Black Friday and I'll show you in some snow. I like how you've already changed the vernacular. Frank says they'll enjoy that. We'll listen, we're going to little by little we're going to start to get into Thanksgiving. Yeah. My back to me is like Eric's throat is to his voice. Oh, that's funny, Yukon. All right, so that's kind of where we're at. Looks like a little bit of an ice-ish storm developing um, during the afternoon on Thanksgiving. This is Thanksgiving morning, 7 a.m., a little bit of snow. Thanksgiving, 1 p.m., Thanksgiving, 7 p.m. Oh, Oklahoma, Arkansas. I'm very sorry. And then moving into the eastern half of the country here. Yeah, but I don't like seeing those yellows. When you see the yellows, those orangish, that's sleet. Out of this map, those are the worst colors to see. Tanya says, and this is exactly correct, ice storms are the worst. The last ice storm in Michigan, power outages for 3 weeks. Obviously, we don't want that. But you're not wrong, right? Like ice storms genuinely are the worst. They are the worst. That's the absolute last thing that we want. So, yeah, for what it's worth. All right. All right. Questions about this little setup that we have going on here? Questions, comments, concerns, anything at all? Meanwhile, back here at home, problem free weather. Bye, Janice. Have a great day. Yeah. Terry says ice storms are tragic for everybody in the path. They are impactful, severely impactful in the worst ways possible. Yeah. They really are. Joseph's asking, do you see Florida getting more frequent Arctic fronts this winter? You know, this has been a very cold transitionary period, so it wouldn't surprise me if we get colder. You know? Sonia Blade on YouTube says, I would take a snowstorm over an ice storm any day. I think I would probably agree with that. Dawn, yes, used to get the freezing temperatures below zero and feet of snow in upstate New York. Yep. Yep. James says back and body hurts. Happy the cold's gone for now. Yeah, yeah. All right. Questions, comments, concerns, my friends? We've got lots of events going on. So let's just review kind of the overall setup here for our Central Florida weather. All right. Starting off with seasonal weather today. Tomorrow, highs near 80. And then next week, little by little by little, looking better and better. Warmer temperatures for us. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. Where's that button? That's the button I tried to press. You mentioned a possible Alberta clipper a few days ago, Faith is asking. New term for me. Can you talk more about that and how it impacts Florida? It's so interesting. So, Alberta clipper is a little area of low pressure that kind of clips through the Canadian border there and kind of curls up around Alberta. For Florida, that's not a big indicator of anything because it's so far to the north. So, it's not a big deal for us. But yeah, something interesting. Faith, I love teaching weather and I love that you're wanting to learn weather, continue to learn because the more you understand, the more you can be a little mini meteorologist. Like I went to school for this, right? But like the technical definition of meteorologist is just somebody that studies weather. So you could be a little mini meteorologist. That's fun. How many people say, I was always interested in the weather when I was younger? I feel like all of us probably are at some point, right? Because it impacts all of us. So why not? Nicole says, I haven't seen snow in 25 years. I saw snow last year. It was an adventure, we'll say. It was an adventure. Oh boy. All right, there you go. No snow in this 7-day forecast. Jeff Cosgrove says, doesn't look like weather in Oklahoma. Wait 8 hours. Was stationed in Oklahoma 1 year, Christmas Eve through Christmas Day. Freezing rain turned to snow overnight, and by 1 p.m. Christmas Day was 75. You gotta love that, right? Debbie, Eric, where is your phone? Right here. Why? Should I be terrified? Why? Why is my why? Some of us end up in med school and will say that's not what Eric told us. Well, I'm not going to pretend I'm perfect. Hey, hey, do you think you're perfect? Oh man, Yukon. So I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Even though I have my AMS seal, I am not so fond of that organization. So they're going to get 0 additional pennies from me, and I will leave it at that. Not a cent more. Matt says looks like flying weather. Kelly says you made a B plus snow angel too. I was proud of you. Listen, it turned to ice, so when I fell down into it, it was like this much snow and this much ice. I hurt my tuchus and it hurt for days. Joey's asking, Eric, you having a wrap up season for the 2025 hurricane season? Just kind of curious. Think would be good. Yes, yeah. Jeremy and I are working. Jeremy has still not launched this graphics package yet, and so if you look at the text messages between Jeremy and I, he's freaking out, and I'm teasing him. So his focus at the moment is getting the graphics package done. So yeah, we will do that. We'll get there. Yeah. Yukon, aren't there 2 organizations that certify you all? Yes. I need to get my NWA seal. The AMS seal was always the better seal. And I believe, yeah. So the AMS seal was the better seal. I got my AMS seal. I want to do NWA because I like that organization better, but I will not get the AMS has like a digital thing. I will not give them a cent more than I already do. Not a cent more. If the NWA came out with a digital deal, I would probably do that. I need to do my NWA TV seal anyway, but I digress. I am not a fan of the American Meteorological Society. Not at all. I have the seal. I don't agree with a lot of what they do, and we'll let it be. All right. That's my 2 cents. Not that you cared, but you were asking if I was working on my digital seal from the American. I am not working on my digital seal. I am here digital with you. We're good. I don't need them to tell me that I am digital meteorologist. Joe says I want a coffee talk seal. Make the logo. We'll throw it on there. Well, I've got a coffee talk logo. Have you? For those of you that have been around for a while, maybe you know. Hold on. This is the Coffee Talk logo. I didn't make it, but this is the Coffee Talk logo. So maybe I should put that as a seal, as a seal in the corner. Patty says, tell us how you really feel about them. If you haven't figured out yet, I don't hold it back. I really don't. I don't know UConn. I don't know if they have them. I don't know. I don't know. Ah, but there is a logo. I did not make the logo. Our HTV design, our corporate graphics team made the logo, which I probably should get it to be like Wesh 2 and then it like morphs to Coffee Talk. More, that sort of thing. Rosemarie says, forgot about that logo. I mean, I haven't used it in a minute. Debbie, notice how Eric is forgetting, ignoring my comment? Not ignoring it. I just haven't seen it in a minute. I will save my voice, I promise you. All right, any other questions, comments, concerns? Hey, maybe Wesh Yukon says, and you should send us coffee talk autograph seals for donations to share your Christmas. You know what? I forgot yesterday. Let me schedule a text. No, because it doesn't matter. Let me stand by. I've got to send an email. Of course, I open the email box. I send an email to Ebony. Share your Christmas. Hi, friend. Just noticed due to the sunrise schedule changes, I'm no longer working Friday for Share Your Christmas. I want to check on that so it's not a last second, oh my goodness type thing. Am I heading to Daytona this year? If not, that's fine too. Thanks. Have a great weekend. Okay, to Ebony from Eric from Hearst. Okay. Okay. Email sent because I forgot to do it yesterday. So, yeah, there it is. Let's see here. He sends the email. Let's flood his email reminders to go to the ENT appointment. That's funny, Tanya. Kelly says, I'm sure she's going to want to hear from you on a Saturday morning. She's probably not going to read it on a Saturday morning, but at least it'll be there. Yukon says, oh, I tweeted Wesh that I hope they send you to Brevard. I mean, they had me take the place of Claire, so I'm assuming that she's going to respond with, oh, yeah, you're going to be in Volusia. I need to change your schedule. Matt says, still think we should all meet up and coffee talk volunteer at the flood bank, at the food bank. I love that idea. You also could all just volunteer at the Volusia one if I go. We could do that too. Terry says, call the doctor so Debbie can stop worrying. It's my job to give Debbie agita. I'm like her really annoying non-genetic son at this point. When is Share Your Christmas? December the 12th. It's a Friday. I'm technically not working it. I have a feeling that'll change, but we'll see. Joshua says, good morning, Eric, from North Miami Beach. It's 68, a bit brisk out. Oh, it's a little chillier here in Central Florida, that's for sure. A live look at temperatures, 50. Oh, we're into the 50s in Ocala, where it's 60 in Orlando. And when you compare the differences, it's a little warmer this morning than yesterday. Well, let's just bombard Wesh so that Claire hosts in Volusia. You come to Brevard. That'll work too. All right, people. It's a beautiful weekend. Go outside and enjoy. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I will see you from the studio tomorrow morning. All right. Wesh to New Sunrise. Sound good? Be good.